welcome to the latest episode of the Wednesday, the weekly podcast called Talking Balls. Always like to try and make the guests laugh with that one, the Talking Balls. And it's a good, it's a conversation. It's a chance to meet people around the game, the players and other people, broadcasters, all sorts of people. We had Clive Everton just the other day, that came out yesterday actually. But this is someone I've been really looking forward to getting on the show. I'm in Nottingham, so I've got a slight bias there. But today, this week, we've got Michael Holt. So big welcome to you, Michael.
Hello. Thank you very much.
It's good to see you. Thanks for spending some time. So I'll tell you what, let's get it out of the way, because this week, the week we're recording, this is obviously go a bit later, but the week recording is the one where the Championship League started up. And I'm talking to you a couple of days after your, let's say, unfortunate exit from the competition.
Yes, Fergal O'Brien pipped me. I lost on count back, which is basically we were both on the same points. He got the higher break than I did, so he goes through and I don't. We both didn't. I think neither of us lost a game. It was just we're tied, and that's how they split us. So what can I say? Nothing else I can do about it now. It's over. I have to move on, I suppose.
Yeah, it's frustrating, isn't it? How did you feel about the way you played? Obviously, it was the first game first competitive game for a little while now, really, isn't it?
Yes, I was a bit disappointed the way I started my first match. I sort of drew that with a lad called Mark Lloyd, but I slowly got a bit better. But I'd never played well, although I did need to win my last match 3-0 against Andrew Higginson to have a chance of getting through, which I did.
Yeah,
I could do at the time. So I get a little bit better towards the end, but no, I didn't play anywhere near like I can. So, which is a bit disappointing, because I have been putting quite a bit of work in, and I've been playing pretty well in practice, for 4 or 5 weeks. So it just shows you it don't really matter until you get out there. You know. But it's like I say, it's the first tournament, so I suppose there's a few early nerves there. But if I can keep pushing, keep playing to the level I've been doing in practice, I think fine. Sooner or later, I'm going to win a few matches.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew Higginson's no slouch either, is he? So for you to need to win that and get the 3-0 was still a pretty good effort, wasn't it?
Yeah, they're all good players, mate. They're all good. I'm sure people that don't watch the qualifiers would see the odd player that you don't see much on TV and think, oh, he's not that good. But I can assure you, they can all play on the day. You know what I mean? So, any win at professional level is a good win.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we kind of sort of started this up for the last couple of months, and a few pros that I've spoken to said exactly the same, which is that when they're on the practice table and when they're at the table, they can hit the big breaks. It doesn't matter how good the opponent is. It's just getting in and being consistent. So it's got to be frustrating, isn't it? When you know you've got the game, but it's whether you bring it on the day.
Yes, it is frustrating for the players behind the top players. The thing that separates, and I'm sure it's the same in all sports. In fact, I'm virtually sure it is, that the thing that separates the top players and the people and the players and the competitors just behind them. It's nothing to do with the fact that they can play more shots or they can do more stuff on the table. It's just mindset. I think the best example is Mark Selby. I mean, he's obviously very talented as far as he can play all the shots. He's brilliant, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The thing that sets him apart is his mindset. It's just an animal, basically. He's a contradiction, because he's such a nice fella, you know. He's a top lad, you know. He's a friend of mine, you know. He's good.
Right.
He's a good person. But when he's on the table, he's just horrible.
And it's funny, isn't it? Because and whatever we think of some of Ronnie OSullivan's comments, you know, that he's said about personalities around the game, and a lot of people I've talked to have said Selby's a great personality, but he comes across, it's a bit like Steve Davis in a way, isn't it? He comes across a little bit not dour, but you know, that granite kind of, everything about him is solid, isn't it? And very determined.
Yeah, granite's the right word. He's just absolutely granite. He really is on the table. And to be fair, why shouldn't he? Because it's just it's just a game of snooker.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? You know, he's not hurting anyone. He's not he's just trying to win, and he will literally stand out there all day until he's won. So I mean, but you know, why not? He's made an incredible life for himself. He's got a beautiful family. Do you know what I mean? And he's having success at what he's doing. So yeah, I mean, you can't. How can you knock that? It's just
no. He's amazing, isn't he? He's a
yeah,
machine.
incredible.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's a Leicester fan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad he's
Can't have it
Leicester. Well, this is it, isn't it? I'm glad he's Leicester, but not further up, but not Derby. If he was Derby,
that'd
it
be
would
bad. That'd
be pretty horrible, wouldn't it? It'd be awful.
He couldn't be a nice person, could he? Let's be honest.
Well, no, and if that means the listenership drops off, I'll have to look at the analytics and see who listens in from Derby. But yeah, the t-shirt's on today.
It is. I love it.
Psycho time.
Yeah,
but and I mean, one of the we had Steve Holworth on the other week actually, and he said about he comes and plays at yours as well. I think he was saying.
Oh, Stephen Holworth, right? Okay, yeah. He plays weekly now. Yeah, he's only up the road, Lincoln. It's 45 minutes for him. So yeah, he's improving. He's got a good attitude. He wants to play all the time. So that's when he's at the stage he's at. He needs to keep going, keep playing. He needs to learn as much as he can, and obviously improve and see where it takes him. That's all he can do, really. But he's got the right attitude. He wants to.
I think almost the last word he said at the end of the interview was optimistic, and I thought it's that determination. And we also had Hayden Stanley. This hasn't gone out yet, but Hayden's he's kind of trying to get his way in, and he didn't quite get through Q School, but he's from Worksop. And again, it was just that optimism and that feeling of, I will get there, I will make it. It's going to take time, but
why not? Why not have that optimism?
Fantastic.
What's the other option? Not wanting, not fancying it, or not having that, being pessimistic about it.
I know.
Because you've got to have those dreams, ain't you? It's a bit of a cliche, ain't it? But you've got to have that goal to strive for. So why not? Why not reach for the stars?
Yeah, it's tough to break into that top group, though, isn't it? I mean, I'm not obviously. I mean,
the main draw.
Yeah, to get into that. I mean, even in the top 64 is tough enough, isn't it? But even to get to the top group itself, it's a bit like tennis, isn't it? You get 3 or 4 of those top players who, in another generation, would be the top person. You've kind of got a group still there, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, I think snooker is obviously stronger now than it's ever been. I mean, I know I don't look it, but I've been in the game quite a long time.
You don't look it, Michael.
Stop it. So yeah, I think I've been in the game a long time. So the thing that's improved the most is not the top 8, but that number 64 is miles better than they were 15, 20 years ago. You know what I mean? So the strength and depth has got better.
Yeah.
Who was it a few tournaments ago? I think Jordan
Brown,
Brown, he won a tournament, and where was he ranked? I think it was out the 64. I think.
Yeah, I think he was
in the world. So that was, that would have been the biggest shock of all time 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Obviously now, although it wasn't, it was a shock. Nobody was like, I can't believe it.
No,
it can happen. That can happen and does happen. So. That just shows you how strong it is. I mean, he beat Ronnie OSullivan in the final as well. So he's not the draw hasn't opened up for him.
No.
He's a good player, and to win tournaments you've got to be. So
shows
you the strength in depth.
And as you say, the tour or the kind of the fixtures didn't just open up kindly, but the draw and all of that. But then looking ahead at the next competition, the British Open. Just been brought back, and it's the open draw. I mean, a lot of people are talking about that, aren't they? What do you think of it?
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think they try and give each tournament their own identity, so that they're not all the same from a marketing perspective.
Yeah.
Or I think that. So I think if they're going to have a tournament which is random draw, it's random draw every round, isn't it?
I think it is.
What I've heard. Yeah. So which is it's good. It gives it a bit of novelty as far as it's got its own identity. But I think. It's best of 5s, which I think if any of the players have grumbled between themselves, there's little moans and little grumbles, when we speak to each other. It could have been best of 7. Yeah. Because best of 7s is not a long match, but best of 5's getting a bit short, to be honest. But I think it's not. It's going to be best of 5, so we all have to play in it and we all have to get on. Somebody's going to win in it. Somebody's going to be doing cartwheels at the end of the week. So you've just got to turn up, try your best, and hope it's you.
Yeah. You're looking forward to it?
Yeah, I look forward to all. I look forward to playing. I enjoy playing. I think I enjoy playing more now than I ever have done. I think.
Right.
I appreciate it more now.
Right.
I appreciate how lucky I am to be doing it. Still doing it now. So, and I think that makes me want to work harder. And I do work hard, and I try my best. I think I'm better now than I've ever been. So,
right.
So yeah, I look forward to all the events. You don't look forward to driving home upset.
No.
But that's part of it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The best of the best lose, lose quite a bit because it's hard. You can't win every match. So
No.
it's just one of them, really.
But I guess as well, with it being that shorter format, I mean, you could travel a long way, couldn't you, and almost just have 3 frames and be out. I mean, that's staggering, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You could get, somebody could beat you very quickly, but you can't really concern yourself with that. All you've got to concern yourself with is what you're doing.
Yeah.
If you get your chance, try and take it.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it for very long.
No.
Set yourself, get it one quick. So yes, that's all the players will be doing. That's what I'll be doing. So we'll see. We'll roll the dice and see where it happens.
And it's not far away either for you, really, is it? Just down at Leicester. It's
Leicester, isn't it? Yeah, it's great for me. I mean, when I was at that venue, it's the same venue we did the Championship League.
Yeah.
I think it's 37 minutes for me to get there.
Oh, perfect.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Stay in my own bed. Brilliant.
And so that's a big contrast from last season, isn't it? Obviously, we still have the pandemic, but obviously it was a much more disrupted over the season and the work at Milton Keynes and what have you. I mean, how do you reflect when you look back on that last year or 18 months? It was a weird one, wasn't it?
I think it's been weird for everyone, hasn't it? Just craziness. You still can't believe it's still going on. I can remember at the time it was like March and like we had to be done by September. You know what I mean? And like the next September, it's probably still going to be going. So, World Snooker, to be fair, to the credit, did brilliant. I think they got that place at Milton Keynes, and we were playing there every event, which obviously not ideal because you want to be playing to these different places. But we are where we are. They did well to get the season or some kind of a season going. So because the players need to earn money. So it was. As much as it wasn't ideal, it was a lot. We was all happy to be playing. So
your outlook. Even, I mean, I've listened to you on other podcasts, and you've done a few and interviews and what have you. Your outlook seems very positive and almost like you're very appreciative of everything that you've got and what the game's given you. And you've already said that, really. But is that something
definitely.
that's changed with? I guess something about maturity, but also family as well. And you've got a lot in your life, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely. I think you've hit the nail on the head. I think as you get older, you try and become a better person, don't you? And a more level person, a bit wiser. I think that has happened. I'm sure I know it has. I've tried to be better. Obviously to be a better father, better husband, all that. But so I think that gives you a better perspective on life, and you sort of look at life better. So, like I said before, I appreciate what I'm doing. In my 20s, late 20s, early 30s, I didn't appreciate it. My attitude stank, really. I took it for granted, which I regret to a point, but there's nothing I can do about it now. I'm on my journey. If I'm really happy, well, the way I look at it is I'm really happy now. I've got a great family, I've got a great missus. Things are all right. If things would have been different then, I might not have found myself here.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So as much as I'd like to have won bigger snooker tournaments, I'd like to have done better. But like I say, where I am now, all roads have led to here. So I'm content with that. It is.
Yeah, and obviously you won the shootout season before last. I mean, do you still hold hopes to get some more ranking titles? I mean, you're still fairly young, really. In one sense, you're still a young fella, aren't you?
Definitely. I mean, I think the days are gone when 42 is too. I mean, it's never been too old to play snooker. We're not outside. People play Premiership football at 40. So I'm sure you can do that. I mean, Federer, what is it, 39? He's running around a tennis court. So I don't think there's any physical, as long as your eyesight's okay, obviously. I think it's more about the desire to keep going on and to keep working hard. Like some of the young guys, like Stephen, for instance, is very hungry, isn't he? He's not done it. It's all new to him, So, but I think, fortunately or unfortunately, the way you look at it, I've not really achieved anywhere near what I set myself out to when I was 20.
Yeah.
So because of that, I'm still very motivated, and I know some of the lads like your Mark Williamses and things like that. He does sometimes go in and out of motivation. Sometimes he's really on it, and you can tell. And then sometimes he's not quite on it, and you see his social media, and he's like,
Yeah.
for this and that. But he's won everything. He's won it all, you know. So, you know, he's probably he can afford to go. Oh, I can't be bothered today.
Yeah.
So, but I'm unfortunately I'm not in that position. So I'm still as motivated as Stephen is, or any young player is.
Yeah.
So, and I've got my eyesight, touch wood. So, yes, I mean, you know, I'm a better player now than I've ever been, and so you know, we'll see how we go. But yeah, I do feel like I've got a better chance now of winning a big tournament than I have, definitely.
And you, I mean, you've mentioned it before. You know, obviously you're ahead of this. Looked on social media, got a feel for your views on some things, and I think you mentioned that about Hendry coming back. I mean, that was interesting, wasn't it? But you were saying that it's not the ability or the physical side; it'll be his desire to kind of almost get back into the higher positions in the rankings.
Yeah, you've got to put that work in. I mean, there's no player ever not had to work hard at the game. I mean, you know, the best, obviously, Ronnie, you know, he still works hard. He's a massive snooker geek. He loves the game and he loves playing. So no matter how talented you are, you've got to put the hours in and really go all in. You know, and not just like playing wise, emotionally, you've got to go. You've got to really go for it. You can't just do it, you know, standoffish. You've got to do it properly. So obviously, Stephen Hendry, was he 52? If he's still got his eyesight, there's nothing his body won't let him do. It's just whether he wants to put the hours in practicing. Does he want to really put himself in a position where he could get beat a lot?
Yeah.
Does he want that? You know what I mean? Does he want that sacrifice? And if he doesn't, then he won't get to the level he needs to.
And to be fair, it's fairly well documented, isn't it, that he would beat himself up for any mistakes in his kind of, almost like you wondered if he really enjoyed being as good as he was at his height, really, because of just how much pressure he put on himself.
Yeah, I think when he was the king, running for 10 years, and he was winning a lot of tournaments. It's a good strike rate. I think in a funny kind of way, that was why his demise, probably don't want to be, you know, the way he stopped playing. Because of that attitude, he couldn't sort of accept that all of a sudden he wasn't the best player. It's like, no, I don't want to play anymore. I'm not the top man. Whereas, you know, maybe if his outlook was a bit different, he would just knuckle down and try to catch the top ones. But I do think he chucked it a bit early. I mean, you know, what was he? 40?
Yeah, can't have been a lot more, can he? Because he was winning tournaments in his late teens, I guess, wasn't he? In the big stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I think once that I heard, he didn't win a tournament after the age of 30.
Really? Wow.
Which is an incredible. He didn't win a world championship after the age of 30.
That's crazy.
Incredible. Judd Trump's 30 now.
Yeah.
So it showed. That's just a mad stat, really. So it was how quick he did such a lot in that 10-year spell, or 12 years, and then he just didn't want to play anymore, which was a shame. It was a shame. He should still be part of the game, which obviously now he's back on.
Yeah.
If he doesn't put the hours in, he's not gonna get better. You know.
So who around, you know, you've mentioned various players, and you know, kind of who around the sport. Well, you're similar age to me. I'm a few years older. It's the paper round that's done it for me, really. But you know, so for me, it was growing up in I guess it was the late 80s, early 90s. So it was that kind of vintage, the Steve Davis and when the 85 final, all the stuff you kind of think about, Jimmy White and Hendry and kind of the early days, John Higgins, etc. I mean, who did, you know, when you were starting out? I'm sure you've answered the question of why did you start and all of that. I'm sure you've asked loads of times, but just
loved it.
Yeah, right. Was there anyone who inspired you to get involved in, you know, your kind of role models or anything?
I was a Steve Davis fan.
Right.
Loved him. And it's funny because I was lucky enough to meet him, obviously, because he was still playing when I was, you know, on the tour. You know, when I first got on the tour, and he was for a while. But, you know, they say never meet your heroes because they might disappoint you. Like, he is brilliant.
Yeah,
he's brilliant, Steve Davis. What a hero! Do you know what I mean? He's still my hero, snooker wise.
Yeah,
because he absolutely loves the game. I don't play so much now. He's a DJ now.
Yeah.
He's a DJ as well. Do you know what I mean? so like, what a guy. But yeah, he just brilliant. You know, really top man. You know. you know, great.
So, so it lived up then. This singer not meeting heroes. You came away thinking, actually, I'm glad I met him.
Without a doubt, because I'd have been devastated if he weren't.
Oh yeah,
yeah. But no, he's absolutely top man, just brilliant bloke.
Yeah. And who's your mates on the tour now? Who would you count? You've mentioned Mark Selby. Who else would you count as mates on the tour?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a few good friends, like Barry Hawkins or Sue the other day, Joe Perry.
Yeah,
I'll get on with Mark Williams, to be fair. John Higgins, I've spent some good times with. To be honest, I could name a lot of players because obviously we've spent a lot of time together traveling. Do you know what I mean? And you sort of, when you sit in an airport for 6 hours or a flight for 12 hours, you talk, you open up a little bit, do you know what I mean? You sort of, you break down a few barriers, you open up a little bit, so you become quite pally with So I think the tour as a whole are great, really. These players you don't get on with as much because you've got less in common, but generally we all get on because we've all been, at some point we've all been stuck together somewhere, so we like to get on with each other, talk to each other. So, but yeah, those few I mentioned, like they were all at my wedding. Stuart Bingham, Mark Davis, Nigel Bond, obviously practicing as a kid, so that they were all at my wedding. Yeah, so
wow.
So yeah, but I'm quite an open, sort of talkative person. So
So yeah, I get the impression you're probably quite hard not to get on with, really.
I'm sure people could argue that.
we'll see the comments.
Yeah, you just go through the list, you'll find someone.
No, but it's. I mean, you've echoed what a lot of people have said, about the whole scene and almost like the players' lounge before matches and stuff, and just that whole thing that nobody really sticks out as being difficult or disruptive. Or, I mean, you get some comments, don't you, in the press, or some quotes that are attributed to certain pros in the game with a big stand-in. But I always wonder if it's intended or whether it's a bit of smoke and mirrors and he's just playing up to it or not, really.
I don't know. I can't get in another man's head. I can't speak wrong myself, really.
Yeah.
But all I will say, it doesn't cost anything to be nice, does it?
Well, yeah, that is true. And when you've got the kind of the power of profile that some players have, you'd like to think they might use it for good things. But hey, fair enough. And you only encourage people to come through and to pick up a cue and to keep the sport going, don't you? Really.
Incredible statements, but anyway, we'll move on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We're talking in the third person, but you don't have to join. You don't have to join the dots. Too difficult there. Anyway, something else I've noticed as well from, and maybe this is part of your approach now and the way you're appreciative. But certainly looking at your social media, talk about Headspace. You kind of retweet a lot of their stuff, and you certainly have over a period of time. And you talked a bit about the mental side of the game, and there's something about resilience and bouncing back from not having the best time and whatever. I mean, is that something that, as blokes, I've worked in kind of some of the mental health settings before, and I feel that blokes especially, could do with opening up more. I mean, is you talking more about it and putting it on your social media, is that to encourage people just to be more open about their mental health?
I suppose a little bit, it's more just me putting my sort of 2 pennies. If people want to sort of not inspired by that, but at least sort of take note of it and maybe think about it, that's great. But like you say, a lot of people don't talk. I think blokes start with a bit, don't talk about that. But I think luckily at the minute, society is changing a little bit. It's, you've got the people are starting, or blokes are starting to open up a little bit. It's become less of a stigma, isn't it? It's become you have to be so macho. But I mean, I do that more because that's just how I'm feeling at the time, and I feel that's my journey. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I'm a different person to I was, say, 5 years ago.
Right.
Because I've sort of, I can get myself at it, just talking negative chatter in my mind and all. Maybe I was sometimes used to be a little bit concerned with what people might think.
Right.
And I think with the Headspace thing, I think it helps me sort of take a step back. And not let. And I think there's one thing it says that if you think about somebody's thoughts, right, how can you let somebody's thoughts affect your day?
I know. Yeah. That's a good
it's
point.
irrelevant
Mm.
what people are thinking. I mean, it's the same with and if you want to put that to snooker, like the only thing that matters is now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like what's in the past has gone,
Mm.
and what's in the future, you don't know what's going to happen.
Mm. Mm.
So people can get wrapped up in the past or the future, what might happen. Well, it hasn't happened. We don't know what's going to happen yet. But the only thing that really matters is this second now.
Yeah.
So you just focus on this second now, and everything will take care of itself in that respect. Do you know what I mean? And I think snooker, the best snooker players are the players that can just concentrate on potting that ball to get on that when they're really under pressure. Because when you're under pressure, nervous, your sort of mind is sparking off. You know, the fight or flight syndrome and all that. It's the chimp paradox. That
Steve Peters.
Talks about the chimp, you know, firing off. Well, that's not rational.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, that's putting in thoughts in your mind that you shouldn't be thinking about. You should be concentrating on potting that to get on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that sounds very easy.
In theory,
it's super easy when you talk about it, but it's not. It's sometimes the hardest thing in the world.
Yeah.
And when your mind's firing, it can make something that you can do literally with your eyes closed the hardest thing.
Yeah.
I worked with a coach called Chris Hendry a few years ago, and I drew quite a lot from him. But one thing he used to say to me, when the mind gets involved, it's like when you see a bike going down the road, everything's rolling, everything's in unison, pedals are going around, the wheels are going around. As soon as the mind gets involved, it's like somebody's putting something in the wheels. It just stops and goes over the handlebars. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, the best way, the art to playing under pressure is just letting it happen.
Yeah.
Doing what you always do. Because doing practice all the time, and it's easy. But all of a sudden, your mind's getting involved and it's stopping. You've got to play with the subconscious. Don't let the conscious mind get involved.
Yeah.
They're a nightmare. So it's just doing what you do, what you've honed. And obviously going back to the mind, the mindfulness stuff with the headspace, that is all about staying in the moment. So I feel like I've benefited. My snooker's benefited, although I still fail all the time. But I feel like I've benefited as a person as well. So that makes my life better.
And people around you. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? A happier you makes for better company as well, doesn't it?
That's another one of the lessons in it. You don't do it for yourself, do it for everyone around you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then you will benefit.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess for you as well, with young kids, I mean, I guess there must be something, not putting it in your words in your mouth, but you're role modeling as well, aren't you? Your kids are kind of watching you and watching how you react to the things around you, and they're going to pick up on that, aren't they, from quite an early age? I mean, when I was working, I volunteered with Samaritans for a little while, for a few years in Nottingham. I was shocked at how many people who were in their 80s would call you and still talk about stuff that happened to them when they were a kid. And you thought, wow, I thought with your life experience and everything you've done since, that wouldn't be on your mind anymore. Why is that still there? No. But it clearly makes such an impact at a young age.
Definitely, as a child, and I'm no sort of psychologist, but I've read a few things about how things in your childhood can sort of shape you. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it can really make a big difference to how you become a person. And like you say, I think being a father now, I want to be the biggest job in my life that will ever be is being a father. It makes snooker seem pretty meaningless, to be honest. So obviously that is my biggest goal, is to be the best dad ever. I get a card every year saying I am. It must be true. So I think that's my main motivation with that. And that's like I was saying before, that I'm quite an older dad. They're only 3, so I'm 42, but I'm such a better dad now than I would have been. Because I'm just a better person. And some people might be great dads when they're 25. They're different to me, but I know me. When I think back to who I was then, there's no way I've been as good a dad as I am now. So, and again, that's because I've worked on myself, and you try and I think what did I hear? I've heard this one. It's a really one. Why have a mind if you're not going to change it?
I like that. Yeah.
It's a James O'Brien quote, actually.
Oh, okay.
So I was reading his book, but
yeah.
I listened to him on the radio. But I really like that. Why have I change it? You know.
I like the bit as well. It was linked to what you said earlier, but I've also heard a saying around. I mean, we could go off to a rabbit hole down here, and it's a good one. But it was, and it was something around why bother about what people think of you if you wouldn't take advice off them. And I like that one because I kind of thought, why pay respect to what somebody that you don't really care about and don't know sometimes?
Yeah. I mean, if all those people that you're worried about thought you were the best person in the world. This was the best podcast in the world. You were Forest were the best football team in the world. Would it change your life?
Wouldn't change yourself, would it?
In terms of you yourself, what you're doing, you've still got to do what you've got to do and get on with it. So the fact that they may think the opposite is as irrelevant.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It doesn't help you, does it?
No.
It's just thoughts.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
And it's what you do with it, like you say, isn't it? So you hear the stuff and you might read something or you hear something, and sometimes it's you turn stuff that somebody says into something horrible to yourself, and they might have walked off not even thinking about what they just said.
Exactly. They might not even remembered they've said it. It's just, but because it hurt you at the time, whether you've been at a weak moment or you're a bit stressed or you know what I mean. It's like, it's the worst thing in the world you've ever heard, but it's like, doesn't matter.
No,
it doesn't matter. It's just this word. And I think it's impossible to be completely bulletproof. You know, I can tell actually, funnily enough, if I'm a little bit stressed for whatever reason, I start to be I can be a bit more sensitive. So things I'll just sort of, I hear something and I'll like, if it just sort of spark my attention. I go, I must be a little bit stressed here deep down, because normally I just laugh at that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think that sort of stuff I've learned that because I've been working on the mindfulness. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm more aware of myself now. Because I can pick up on things and I go, that's
right.
More than normal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas I'd just probably go back in the past, I would have let that upset me, and that would have stopped. Do you know what I mean? So, yes.
And then you might stew on that as well. You might stew on it, and of course, doing what you do, you might then go off to a tournament, things not be great behind the scenes, and then you're not likely to be able to be on the, as you say, in your own mind and focused when you're doing your job.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are times like, and I'm sure players at night probably still do it at times, but if you're playing and you're struggling or whatever, you think about people in the crowd when that was happening, you know, and they think I'm rubbish now.
Right.
And you're even getting upset with thoughts that might not even be happening.
Right.
They might not be thinking that. They're probably thinking he's good.
Yeah.
But because you're in a negative mindset, so now you're upset about thoughts that you're think people might be thinking, which is probably not anyway.
Yeah.
Well, how absolute bananas is that?
That's a turmoil that's right in your own head, isn't it? But it's really ripping you up. Yeah.
So I think, again, it's easy to sit here and be super chilled about things, but you will still fail. I will still fail at times when I'm playing. But again, you just keep reminding yourself those things. So
you've almost got the tools in the toolbox to kind of correct it a bit quicker rather than let that affect you.
More noticing thought.
Right.
Again, one of the things it says in the app is when you do your sort of meditation, you're trying to focus on whatever you're breathing. You will get thoughts come in your mind, but you're not supposed to hang on to them. You just notice them, let them go.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a road with cars going past. You notice a car, but don't stare at it. Just let it go.
Right.
And you should do that with thoughts as well.
Yeah.
No, it's a thought, that is. I let it go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's very, very zen-like. My favorite.
Well, I'm just zen up to the shizzle, aren't I? Really?
What I like actually, I wrote it down, and I like something you did put on. I think you put it on Twitter, and it was Namaste Duck. That was a good saying, that. And for anyone outside Nottingham, Doc's a very Nottingham saying.
Yeah, it's an endearing term, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, that's your next business venture, isn't it? Namaste Duck. If you want to go into that and become a bit of a Zen master yourself, then you've already got the name of it, haven't you?
I've just got to learn how to float, on all fours.
Brilliant. I mean, it's all the things you said there, it just makes total sense. And the players I've talked to have all said the same, which is that, as you say, it's that practice is just fine, but it's when you get to the table, it's that ability to just focus in, not let the nerves hit you too hard. And when you sat down, almost get back up after however long you've been sat down until your next go, but be able to crack on again rather than be stale again.
Exactly. But like I say, it's easier said than done.
Yeah, absolutely. Did it help, thinking back to the shootout, the fact that you won that, and I'm presuming then that the speed of thought, the speed of shot selection and all of that is something that you obviously handle well if you're in the shootout, but is that better in a way because you haven't got time to overthink your shots, really, have you? You've got to almost be a bit more instinctive.
Yeah, I've obviously been asked this question quite a few times. I've got the best record ever in the shootout. I've won more matches in it, but I mean, I've just been lucky as well. I've rode my luck. I've had people miss against me at the right time, so I do get a bit of stick off the player. Like, who's the luckiest player on tour? Well, it's got to be you, So, but I think if I want to try and read into it, like I have done, I think the fact that I am under the time constraints, that does focus my mind. And if I just play on my instinct, I can play the game fairly quickly. Really, I don't feel that rushed, funnily enough.
Right.
Whereas when you look at the average shot times and then the proper format, I'm like sort of around 60 on the list.
Right. Wow.
23 seconds.
Right.
Which is not really 24 seconds maybe at times. So that just shows you that maybe I do overthink a little bit. Well, a little bit when I'm playing, when I'm just forced into just making my decision, trusting myself, then I can do it fairly comfortably. So I think if anything, I did take that from it. I have to sort of try and trust myself more, and that's confidence, isn't it? And then just trust my first shot and just play it, because it's very rare you'll pick the wrong shot first time.
Right.
You know what you're doing. You can see the balls where they are. There's no problems. You just go about it. But obviously, when you're nervous, you start second guessing yourself. Yeah,
sure.
Anything, Yeah. So again, that wheel, that stick in the wheel, in the bike wheel, you're off. So I think, yes, if I'm going to read anything into it, I'd maybe read that.
I
don't think I'm making that up. I think there's something in it there, but like I said, it's a bit of luck as well. Let's be honest.
Well, maybe, but I guess at the same time, the more people think that you might be lucky, the more they might be nervous when they play you, because they're thinking, if I stuff this up, he's probably going to get it, isn't he? And then it'll just keep
when I look at it. I agree with it. I'm like, they're lucky.
And I mean, it's interesting you say there about, obviously thinking about even what the audience, the crowd are thinking, and especially if you want to do well in front of them. I mean, it's a very, very different example, but I mean, how this podcast came about really was from a group of us. There's about 40 odd who play in a PlayStation league using the Snooker 19 game. Wow. And it sounds silly, but even on there, just the fact that, I got to you had a lower division final, if you like, they called it the Bronze Cup. And I played this other fella who was very aggressive the way he played. And I wasn't a big break builder, and I'm still struggling to do that even on the game. But I was really aware, because it was being live streamed, there's only about 10 or 15 players on it, as in the players on the game watching it live. But the fact that I knew they were watching it live, I thought I wasn't doing brilliantly, and I thought, I'm embarrassed here because I know I'm better than this. And they're going to think
that's the same thoughts. That's it.
That's the first time they've seen me. They're going to think I'm a right mug here.
That's exactly it. I mean, it's a different. It's on the computer game or whatever, but it's all relative. It's the same sort of coming from the same place. That thought, it's really irrelevant. It don't matter.
Yeah. To be honest, the worst thing about that was more that we'd only just bought a new sofa, and I knocked over McGuinness halfway through the game.
But that can put you off, to be fair.
When you're live streaming your final, your cup final, and your Guinness goes over the sofa. Kirsty
Disaster.
I think Kirsty cried. I hope she never listens to this. Kirsty cried a little bit. It was awful.
Really, yeah. I'm upset myself.
It wasn't too much Guinness, and in the end, the sofa cleaned, so it was all right. But I think it's, as you say, it's that thing about expectation, but wanting to be seen as credible. You've practiced, you've tried to do the right things, and you want to bring it on the day. So it's a bit crushing, isn't it?
You want to show yourself. You want to show how you can play, and you want to win as well. So all those things, but yeah, you've got to try and, like I said before, the only thing that matters is potting that to get on that. It's all stuff in your mind that you don't need to be there. Yeah,
absolutely. And footy, let's go for a bit of footy. It's a snooker podcast, but a lot of us are going to be football fans as well. And you were quite vocal again during Euro 2020, isn't it, technically? And you were vocal there about English fans cheering on the home nations, but it wasn't always reciprocated. And
I do hang the hook out a few times. It's quite funny.
Armchair managers and all of that, and as Forest fans, obviously seen a lot of managers through our, well, not even just our time, even the last few years.
Yes.
What's your thoughts on that? I mean, we've got a generation.
My friends, I've got some friends, like one of my best mates, Danny, who's like, didn't like Gareth Southgate, and we still talk to each other now. He's like, you shouldn't be manager, blah blah blah. But my point is as fans, we all watch the game, we all love it, we all got a two pennies worth, haven't we? Right? We don't really know what we're talking about. Even if you've been watching it for years, right? How can you possibly have the same knowledge as someone that's spent their whole life in the professional game?
Yeah.
Surely they've picked things up on the way that you don't even know they exist.
No.
And I think the only reason I say that is because I know my journey on tour for over 20 years. So I thought I knew what I was talking about when I turned pro. But obviously, when I think back now, I was absolutely clueless.
Right.
And I was playing to a professional level. So now the only reason I know that is because of my journey.
Yeah.
And how I've played all the, I've played snooker, I've played all the top players. I've learned about how to play, and just all these things, all these experiences that I've had.
Yeah.
Have obviously now give me a lot more knowledge on snooker. So that must happen in football as well. Gareth Southgate has lived his life in football, so he knows loads of stuff.
Yeah.
I appreciate there's different philosophies in football. Yes, let's all chuck Grealish and Foden on. I would do it. I'd play rush goalie. You know what I mean? So we've got loads of attacking players. Just get them on, right? But obviously, I don't know what I'm talking about. So my point was, yes, you're allowed. It's not about not having an opinion. Everybody can have an opinion, of course. But I just back him. That's how he wants to play. That's how he's going to do it. And at the end of the day, to be fair to him, he's getting incredible results. We've had the best two tournaments we've had. Well, 96.
Yeah.
He's doing all right. It's like England fans. They want us to win, but they want us to win 10-0 as well. Play like Barcelona in 2010.
Yeah. Well. Also, I wonder at times. I mean, the media in this country at times likes to build people up and then knock them down, don't they? So when you get to the top, it's kind of a way of saying, well, don't get too big for your boots. And Gaz is a good example of that.
Yeah.
But then and also as guest fans, you get fans who almost and I'm sure Forest fans do this. There's a lot of Forest fans who want the manager to go, so they almost want the team to have a bad run, so the manager goes, and then let's see who the next guy is and what he's like.
And nobody benefits from that.
Oh,
too many changes. I mean, Chris Hughton is the Mourinho of the Championship, isn't it?
Yeah. No frills.
He's got an incredible record.
Yeah.
He's got second best record of the Championship, I think. That's what I heard anyway. Maybe
I don't know. I wouldn't be at all surprised. Yeah.
So, as Forest, we couldn't really ask for any better a manager than that. So now he's the manager.
Yeah.
Crack on, right? My mate Danny shouldn't play Yates. Why is Yates?
I love Yates.
Well, he must be a good player.
Yeah.
Because Chris Hughton wants to win, right? And he's watching him on the training pitch, so he must be doing a job.
Yeah.
Just support the team.
Yeah. Yeah,
we crack on.
And in a way, sometimes because that's a difference as well, isn't it, between say snooker and a team game? Because in a team game, you might have a player like Yates who you might say at times, well, he always headers over the bar when the cross comes in or whatever, but he gets there. And and it's also that thing though, isn't it, that he might be at such a pivotal point on the pitch where he plays that he helps others to play better. In which case, doesn't matter if he's not the best player, but he's helping others to be good. And you kind of think, but you don't see that if you're just going to criticize every time he mistimes a tackle or every time, he gets a yellow card or whatever. But in terms of his energy, and we met, as a group of us met Kevin Nolan and Mark Crossley in Bridgeford actually a while ago when he was manager. And Yates was on loan at Notts at that time. And Nolan, I mean, you've got to listen to Kevin Nolan in terms of knowledge of the game. And he was saying, that Yates fella, he'll run through brick walls for me. He's going to be a top player.
And you need them players in your team.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, what's the one, the French fella? Then about giving him World Player of the Year, isn't it? He runs around. What's his name? Oh,
not Mbappe.
No, the one that runs the midfield, running around, covers all the ground.
Kante.
Kante, that's it. Yeah. He's not that messy, is he? But like, he's first on the team sheet.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
he's brilliant.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. Like I say, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just, I just want him to score.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Let's hope there's some goals this season.
Just score goals. So happy days. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Do you get to many games? I mean, around the family and your schedule with the tournaments, do you get to go to any games?
I mean, if I sort of come home and say to Amy, I'm just going to watch the football. I'll get back in my bin line. All the photos bin line. So I'm basically all I'm hoping for. I've been the odd game here and there. I went to a few matches last year, to be fair. Well, not last year. When
you could,
before lockdown, I went to watch when we beat Leeds. And won the league.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Is that the one where Tyler Walker scored late in the game?
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, because it's funny because I was sitting next to some Leeds fans and they were slagging that Bamford off. He's rubbish, blah blah blah. And then it's only 8 months later he's scoring hat-tricks in the Premier League. There you go.
Man, it's just crazy, isn't it? You knew how good he was when he was a kid at Forest, didn't we? All knew he was going to be a big player, and now look at him.
Brilliant, and what if he'd have listened to all those people that said he's no good?
Yeah, no, it's impressive, isn't it? And even the lads who had the penalty misses for England, so much has been said about that. But again, these fellas, the amount of abuse they've been getting for all sorts of reasons. I mean, you just kind of got to think they come through this and come out as better, stronger people. You've got to hand it to them, haven't you? You really have.
Definitely. I think the best way, for them, I mean, I can't give them advice, but you do, when you get the people like slagging you off on Twitter, try and look at it with empathy. Like, how bad must their life be if they've got to spend their time doing that to you on Twitter?
Yeah.
Just feel sorry for them, really.
Well,
it's vile, some of the stuff they were saying. Whatever.
I always think you should. I mean, there's a big petition going about trying to get ID to be able to have a Twitter account so that you can follow up. Yeah, and you also think, well, in a way, one of the quickest ways to sort it would be if they just got the person who said it to meet the player and say it to the face, because they'd never do that.
Never do it. I think it's that Curtis Woodhouse, didn't he? He went round.
Yeah, he went round.
He found who he was. He went round. He's like,
yeah. I was trying to remember as I said that. I was trying to remember which player it was. Woodhouse. Yeah. Oh, if you did that, but again, that would probably do more good than anything else, because the person doing it would probably never do it again. You'd imagine.
No chance. But again, as much as they are horrible, it's only words.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let them crack on for me. But I know some of the abuse they were getting, obviously racial. But I think, with people have got those anonymous platforms, haven't they?
Yeah.
They'll just say stuff, whether they mean it or not. To be honest, they'll just say vile stuff. The most vile thing they can think of at the time that might hurt that person. It's just that's why, again, there's a case for at least having some ID to your account. But we'll see whether that happens or not. We'll see.
Yeah, no, well, let's let's hope so. It would seem the right way. I'll tell you what, one of the funny, I don't know if you're going to like this or not, or whether you'll be annoyed, but one of the funniest Twitter accounts at the moment that I've seen is your Amy.
Oh.
Now look, let me read out some quotes. All right, I hope you don't mind this. I hope you don't mind some of these quotes.
No, it's all right.
Repeat them.
Yeah.
Repeat them back at you. But and I haven't said them word for word. But hey, here's a few. So here's one. Happy Father's Day to distinctly average daddy, and that gets worse. Look how fit you were 3 years ago. I want my money back.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the worst one, I think. Hitman Holt can make love in 15 seconds. Surely England can score in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
That was a zinger.
That was a nice one.
Been looking through the pictures and reminiscing about when you were a solid 8 out of 10. That's again quite harsh.
Yeah.
And there was something around, well, letting your secrets out really about crying watching Married at First Sight. I mean,
she
below
below
the belt
moment there. Yeah.
and snooker being the hardest single player sport in the world. And then Amy said that you seem to really struggle with it, which is, again, I mean, you must have a great relationship to be able to put stuff like that on the internet.
Yeah, we're brilliant. As much as she gives me an earache like that, we're very blessed. We have a good relationship, you know. I wouldn't have it any other way, to be honest.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't have a good relationship if you couldn't put that on there, could you? If you didn't.
I think it's funny. I think it's
and the family, the kids, you said, you said that, becoming a father is come at a good time for you. You feel like you're in a better place and almost to give everything you can to your kids, and you want to be a good dad. You mentioned, and there'll be some dads on here, there'll be some dads listening to this. So you mentioned a very harrowing book, Grandad's Island. I don't know if you want to go back there.
Honestly, I don't, because I've started me off. I weren't ready.
I should have warned you, shouldn't I?
Oh, honestly, I was in bits. Oh, dear me.
there's a good one, actually. There's a good. I don't know if you've had this one, but I think it's an American one, and we've had this from the school. It might have been nursery when she was at nursery, but Ella's 5 now. But it was about, have you filled a bucket today? Have you seen that one?
No.
Oh, I recommend it. Have you
filled a bucket today?
Have you filled a bucket today? Or it's something like that. It's about filling buckets. But what it is, and we're going into book reviews for kids now. But what it is, it's about everyone's got. I'm going to try and do this really quickly. This counts for adults as well. Everyone's got a bucket. You just can't see it. And when you're nice to them, you fill their bucket up. And they can fill your bucket up, and that could be a smile. You say something nice to them, you do something nice for them, you see a new kid in the playground and you go and talk to them. But equally, you can take out of people's buckets when you're horrible to them and bullying and nasty and things like that. And you just think, okay, Ella, so what do you want to do then? Well, I want to fill buckets then, don't I, Dad? That's what I want to do. And I just thought it's broken down really simply like that, but it's just a nice metaphor for life, really.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, fill the bucket. Yeah, fill someone's bucket. Yeah. I think I have heard people reference that, and I didn't really know what they were talking about. But yeah, I think it's a good one. Yeah, it's a good one. I recommend it. It's a nice way, just about kindness, I think. Yeah. Well, if you can't be kind, don't be anything.
No, exactly, no. I'm dotting around here. I hope you don't mind, Michael. I'm dotting around, but there's you've got a lot of views on a lot of things which are interesting and gives us some material in a way. But I don't know where we go with politics. You put on your Twitter, you're politically homeless. So what's that mean?
Well, you don't know who to vote for, do you? Really? I think this government are making it, I think, impossible not to vote Labour. But that's just me. But I think I'm obviously left-leaning. I'm more centrist, really, but left-leaning. But obviously, I couldn't vote Conservative. No, especially not this mob, anyway.
Oh, yeah, but
I never say never, but I'd be surprised if I did.
Yeah.
But you don't know what's around the corner, do you?
No.
I think the Corbyn thing was just never going to win, was he? Whether it's because of the press hammering, whether it's because he's a bit too far left just to get just to ever get voted in, he's just a bit, obviously I appreciate that the press have destroyed him.
Yeah.
Just think, he must be very principled, but I just think he was really. I think for me to get in voted, you've got to try and appeal to a lot of people. And
Yeah.
so you might have to bend a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? At least make some concessions. But it's as if he was just staunch, got his ideology, and that's it. But that's how it came across anyway. And if you weren't with me, if you're not with me, you're against me.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of his supporters, like avid supporters, are the same. They're all a bit like, well, if you don't agree with everything we say, then you just, you're a Tory.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not the case, is it?
No, there's more. There's room for nuance, isn't there?
Yeah, no, apparently not. So, but yeah, that's. But then that's got us in the past now. I don't know what's going to go around the corner. We're not having a vote for 4 years.
Well, this is the trouble, isn't it? It feels like an open goal in a way, doesn't it? With what we've got there, but then. But then a vaccination program goes well that they take the credit for, and suddenly it looks like the man's doing something decent. But you've got to question, haven't you?
I mean, you can just weigh all the good and the bad things that you could.
Even if
it's not ridiculous, isn't it?
It's quite scary, really, isn't it? Honestly,
very, very scary. But people still love him. It's mad. It's mad.
Yeah. Well. I think that's it. I don't know if that's a British thing or not. I really don't know. But an English thing. It's almost that love of eccentric behaviour in a way, isn't it? You almost think. Well, I don't think it. I probably did years ago for a laugh until he got closer to power and you realised he was useless. And quite harmful. But you think of him on that zip wire where he got his tie caught or something, and then rugby tackling a kid, and you think, oh. Yeah, what fun! And at one point we had Trump and Johnson in power, and you think, have I woken up in a parallel universe?
That's crazy. Yeah, you would have thought, how has this happened? But it did, and he's still in power. And so, part of me thinks at some point people are going to. Well, I think that the Tories will just get rid of him. I think they'll change when all this blows over. Because at the minute, nobody can. Starmer can't make any inroads, really, can he? No, at all. But as soon as all this is over, and they've got to start thinking about the next, because surely he's not going to go again. You'd have thought he's not going to go again, is he? But you don't know, do you?
You really hope
you
not.
think as soon as it comes to the point where this is over, we've got to start planning for the next one. They'll just swap him for someone.
Yeah.
I think they definitely found, although with all this going off now, it saved him.
Oh yeah.
In a funny way.
Yeah.
Because it's just been such a mad time. But anyway, we'll see.
Yeah. Well, as you say, you've only got today. We haven't got the past, and we ain't got tomorrow yet. Yesterday's history. Tomorrow's a mystery.
Correct.
So let's hope for good things. Go. We're talking about Championship League, and I did enjoy listening to. I haven't watched loads of the coverage, but what I've been able to outside of work and everything else, been able to listen to some of it. And obviously, you were on the other day, and I quite like the way you were talking on there. And obviously, a lot of players are getting the chance to be as part of that team now. And I think you've spoken before about being interested in the future and whether getting into the media and that side of things is something you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think the commentary thing, I think I'm sort of knowledgeable enough now to do it pretty good, I think. I mean, I've still got to get better. I've only done it a few times. I'm trying to get better at it.
Yeah.
So we'll see. If they like me, they might not like me. But I think it's something I can do. And I think with it being so local as well, it's like, got to do it, So, but as far as like media around the game, I don't know really. I don't know whether, as far as like being some kind of pundit, I'm not really high profile enough. I don't think anyway. I don't think they do either. So maybe if I win a big event in the future, you might give me more of a chance. But I don't know really. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do in that respect.
Yeah,
I would have built for trying anything really.
Yeah. It's interesting that you say that. So it feels from what you're saying that almost you need a name to be able to, get or open more doors. Then at that level,
open the doors, to get a chance.
Yeah,
maybe. But it wouldn't be impossible that I sort of got my foot in the door somewhere. But it's just you've got to knock on a few doors, and too busy at the minute.
yeah. Not enough time for knocking, but And how does it even just, I mean, again, a lot of people listening to this will be fans like me and won't have got the exposure to stuff you do. So, I mean, how does that even work? Do they just call you or message you and say, well, do you fancy doing some pundit work, some commentary? How does that even happen?
Well, I think you obviously can actually, ask about, I'm interested in doing it, and if you get the chance. But they did, World Snooker did offer, did send an email out saying, players, we're going to try a few new players. So if you're up for it, let us know. I did. So that's why you'll probably hear a few new voices. League, which I think it's good. I think they're preparing for a bit, for the future. Because they're going to need new commentators. Some others, don't do it anymore for whatever reason. So I think that they're just trying a few out. So pass the test.
And let's hope so. Yeah, it'd be cool, wouldn't it? And I hope, for your sake, definitely. And what about the state of the game? I mean, obviously, John Trump was quoted a little while ago about the stuffiness of wearing the suits and the dicky bows, and almost the image, and him and Jack Lazowski doing a bit of riffing over the World Championships. And where do you think it's at? How do you feel about where the game is and where it's headed?
I think, people talk about the 80s as being the glorious days. This is the glory days.
Right.
There's more tournaments than there ever was. It's watched by more people. So these are the glory days. It's a good time to turn professional now. It really is. I think as far as the dress code is concerned, I said at the time, I agree with what he's saying, and I think I still do to a point. But it's not just about the UK. Like in China, for instance, like they love the fact that we wear waistcoat and dicky.
Right.
It's got it's got a different image. Snooker's got a different image over there. It's got a more smarter. They love the fact that it's quite technical.
Right.
Everybody's dressed up. That's part of the appeal. So to all of a sudden take all that away, do you know what I mean? You sort of giving one, taking from the other. So I think that there is room in the calendar for events where we have a more relaxed dress code, which we do. Home series where we just wear shirts. But the thing is as well, obviously, if you're letting players wear what they want, or having a lot more input, you're leaving that open to players making bad choices.
Right. Okay.
Right? That's the nicest way of putting it, isn't it?
Okay.
So obviously, that if they make a bad choice, that doesn't look good, does it?
For the professional image of the sport.
For the image, and just for everybody involved.
Right.
So obviously, I feel they haven't said that, but I feel that is part of the sort of what they're weighing.
Right.
So there's got to be some kind of rules or dress code. But maybe players can put their own stamp on it. I don't know, but it's just a bit of a grey area that's it's hard to make those rules, really. That's why I think that's a problem.
Right. And I think, I remember in the Gary Wilson episode, I think he was saying something around, I think he quoted bowls and said something about almost the presentation of bowls and how, you have the music at the start and how they were doing some really interesting things. And I guess you get snooker compared with darts a lot. And obviously there's the music, there's the pumping crowd and all the rest of it, which would seem a little bit out of place in snooker anyway. But one of the lads who's in the snooker league, this PlayStation league, Belgian fellow actually, and I don't know if I'm saying his tag properly, but it sounds like Stumpf. But he was interested. I asked people to say, have you got any questions for Michael? And he just wanted to know really, and we'll never, me and him will never know this, but what it feels like just walking out to a big crowd. So that almost that theatre of coming out, going, you're at the top, you come down the stairs, there's all these eyes on you, there's the clapping. How does that feel? Just as a human?
Great. It's what you play for, it's what you practice for, isn't it? But it's a funny kind of situation because as much as you've got to try and milk it and breathe it in, you've got to try and still focus on what you're doing.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like, oh, right, you've got to get my head down. So but I think these are experiences that you've got to try and remember. So you've got to take it into a point and then try and switch off and just do what you play the best you can, which you need to focus. So Yeah, but I mean, it's great. It's a good experience. People don't get to experience that, and I haven't experienced it like some have. I've not walked out of the Masters and it's rammed or the Crucible final.
Yeah,
a different level again. But I have played in front of. I can play in Germany. I think I must have been 1,500, 2,000. So
wow, that's pretty cool.
1,500, yeah, it must be. I don't know, but it's the one in Fürth.
Right.
That was rammed.
Yeah.
Really good. It was really good to play in that.
Yeah. I think Joe. I'm trying to remember. I think Joe Perry was on it. It's like I'm trying to name drop to another.
You're
a name anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, but it was
dropping to you. Well, no, it's funny. He was talking about that crowd interaction, and I think he was, if I remember right, he was talking about playing Ronnie. No, or was it Steve Davis? He was talking about how he was impacted by the crowd because he was almost thinking that there was this expectation that the other fella was the one who they wanted to win. Yeah. And he almost rehearsed in his head how it'll feel when he misses a ball and how the crowd will react and go, ooh, and all of this.
Yeah.
And how that got into his head, almost preempting what the response might be.
Yeah. But again, as long as you wrapped up in thought, you see, thinking about what might happen. The only thing that matters is now.
Yeah.
Keep, focus on what you're doing. So.
Yeah, that's a great way to live, whichever way, isn't it? Whatever you
do.
Yeah,
it's just a life lesson, really. You can I think you can put to anything.
Yeah, absolutely. And the coaching, how's that going? I mean, it came to my attention really when you were tweeting about the coaching that you were starting up. So
I've not got many bites, to be honest.
Right.
Maybe because of lockdown, I can only hope for that. But I haven't pushed it as much as I can. It's funny because my missus has been in my ear roll.
Okay.
Pushing it more. She says, "Right, I'm going to do it because you're useless."
So, okay.
I think hopefully I should push it more and get you got more chance of getting a few bites or being interested. So I think I'm doing a course actually next week. They're one of the World Snooker courses. It's
okay.
Stuff, but it gets you on the website,
right?
And you get your sort of check. Is it so much check? So you're covered.
Okay.
Work with children, things like that. So.
Right. Your DBS. Yeah.
DBS. That's it. So we do that as well. So that's all.
Right. So is it a little bit like in football with the UEFA coaching badges and stuff like that? Do you have to almost get accredited to some degree if you want to?
No, but it does help. It does help obviously because you get on all the web pages.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I'm sure that will help.
Yeah.
Really local. I'll pop up on that search. So
yeah.
So. Yes, I'm going to try my best. So we'll see how it goes. Again, it's quite convenient for me at the club. I don't go
right.
Again, like I say, I can't really be going anywhere to do it. But if people want that's it's perfect for me.
So what's your setup then? Have you got like a club that you've got a table set aside, or or your own place, or how does that work?
No, I play at Stadium Leisure on Nottingham Road.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I've got my own table there in the match room there. So I go there, practice all my stuff in there, my table and whatnot. So I just play there. And if I did any coaching, I would do it in there. So it's out of the way.
Yeah.
We can do what we need to do, and hopefully I can make people better.
Or
not worse.
Yeah, well, to be honest, it sounds like you could do a lot around the technical part of the game and obviously the shots, but even in your attitude and your way of thinking about centering and thinking about being in the moment, it sounds like, I don't know if you want to set yourself up to be that, but it sounds like you could give a lot of advice to players just around the mental side of it too.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't think of it because I've failed, especially in the past so badly. So maybe because I've failed so much, that gives me an insight into what it's like to fail badly. So.
Well, you say that, but if you talk, we've talked a bit about football, and sorry to interrupt you, but I think sometimes you when you say failing and all of that, it sounds like disappointment with your career or something. But there's also something, isn't there, about some of the best managers in football have not been top, they've not been the elite players. So your Fergusons, your Mourinho's.
I suppose. I mean, I suppose that's. Although I've not achieved like some have, obviously, I've still sort of experienced quite a lot. And it's not playing the game that's the problem. It's like I say, it's the mindset has let me get a fail. But I mean, I know enough to help people, definitely. So I try and help Stephen, and Ashley comes down, so try and help them, but at the end of the day, that they've got to find their own way.
Yeah. Yeah, cool.
Back on.
Well, I mean, that feels like, I mean, to be honest, it feels like we could go on for ages. But what I wanted to do, and maybe we could at some point later in the season, it might be nice to catch up with you anyway and see how you're going.
Yeah.
But what I normally do, this is something new I've started doing to close these podcast episodes, is just to do a little bit more quick fire, really. So just to kind of find out more about you, your thoughts, some of the a bit slightly left field, some of the questions. And it's a bit cheesy, but if you just go with it a minute, but I'll try and make it bearable. But I'm calling it clearing the colours. So I've done this a few times. It's quick fire. I'm starting with the yellow.
Yes.
And to get the yellow then is your quick fire question. Who do you feel is the funniest player on the tour?
I'll go Joe Perry.
Joe Perry, okay, right, good stuff. We'll put him on the ranking table.
I'm never
for
not
funniest.
laughing when I'm with him. Never.
Really, right.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Green. So for the green, the yellow was hit with ease. Some people have struggled with that, but you're straight in there. What's your favourite venue then, apart from the? Well, I say apart from the Crucible, it might not be the Crucible, but what is your favourite venue?
I've got good memories of Bournemouth in the UK Championship, because that was one of my first venues, and I my second year on tour, I got to the quarterfinals of the UK Championship, which was a big deal now, but at the time it was really big deal. And also Johnny Gins, but that was just a nice time, and I can remember being at the venue, and I just remember loving it. You know, I was so young, so I don't know why. I'll never forget that. Obviously, but I've been looking into playing some great venues down the year, especially in China and some Shanghai. I like playing in Shanghai. That was great. So, but I think that's special in my memory. You know. Right,
the Bournemouth. Okay, that's a great one. It's nice when it means something rather than it just be in the layout or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's your green. That's nicely dispatched. So no problems there. Your brown then. So in terms of players who haven't yet won the World Championship, who do you think the next one will be to do it?
There's a lad from Nottingham, Michael Holt.
He's all right, isn't he? He's improving that mindset he's got. It's only a matter of time, isn't it?
Yeah. Who's a new world champion? Well, obviously he's not nowhere near favourite now. I've always rated Ding as he's not obviously not, you know, he's not favourite anymore or near the favourites, but I've always he's such a great player. I always think he's got a chance, but he's going to have to probably build up a bit of momentum to get there. But new young world champion. Obviously, Bing Tao's won the Masters, hasn't he? So he's got a chance.
Yeah.
You've got to fancy. I think Kyron's got a good record. So especially I don't really know, to be honest.
Well, I'm going to take your first answer, Ding, anyway. So I'm going to say Ding. The two guys I've done this with so far have said they both said Kyron Wilson, actually. Interesting.
Yeah, he's a guy. I was going to say, did I say that? I think I said that. Kyron's a good record there, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Okay, so the Browns it maybe went around the jar a little bit, but it was
went on the angles.
The blue then. So we're getting to the business end. If you had a film about your life made, who do you think would play you, or who would you like to play you?
Well, I've had 4 times randomly Orlando Bloom.
Oh, okay.
So I'd probably go for him.
Is that why is the face kind of stuff? Does that have to stay on now to keep the
Orlando Bloom? Yeah. This is again 4 people have come up to me randomly and said that. So I'm going to take that. But
did you play along with it?
Of course I did. No, they didn't think I was. They just said you look like him.
Oh, I see. Right, you didn't actually get people.
No. They didn't think it was me. No.
Oh, that's a shame. That would have been fun, wouldn't it? Okay, Orlando Blue. I mean, fantastic. Again, a new one. We've not had that one before. Blue was dispatched with ease. You're almost there. Pink. This is an open run, really, and I feel like you're a bit of an open book anyway in some ways, and I like you for that. But any interesting personal facts, anything that people wouldn't know about you? They can't Wikipedia it. They can't read about it.
Well,
or maybe they can.
I can speak Spanish.
Can you?
Well, I used to when I was a kid. I lived in Spain for a couple of years. I was between the ages of 9 and 11. So at one point when I was living out there, I was speaking more Spanish than I was English. I only spoke English to my parents. So all my friends were Spanish. I went to school, which was a Spanish school. So obviously it took me 6 months to to sort of learn, basically be nearly fluent in it.
Oh,
So
fantastic.
I can can't speak it like I used to be able to speak it, but when I go back, if I go to Spain, I'll sort of listen and I'll be able to understand what they're saying, and I'll get the gist. I can speak a little bit, get by.
Oh, we need a Spanish Open then, don't we? We need the tour to take it to Spain. That'd be great, wouldn't it?
Only in the summer though. It'd be great.
Yeah, good point.
We're going to Turkey, aren't we, soon? So
I bet you're looking forward to that, aren't you?
Well, I've got to qualify, but yes, that'd be fantastic. But it's a red. I think it's a red country at the minute, so
yeah,
looks unlikely.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Well, look, I mean, the pink's down. I mean, I don't know what's Spanish for pink. You probably wouldn't have to have thought of that much.
Roja.
Oh, okay. You've even rolling the R's as well. I mean, that's just straight back in there, isn't it? Muscle memory.
Yeah.
And the last one, the black. So it's the vital one, isn't it? It's the killer. What would you call your autobiography? Let's say that you wrote about yourself. What do you think you might call it?
Don't listen to them.
Don't listen to them. Oh, I like that. So
they don't know.
They don't listen to them. They don't know. Should we go for that?
Yeah, because they don't know.
Oh, because I tell you what I'm doing. I'm putting these as the episode title when I put this on put this out on Apple and Spotify and everything else. I'm using the autobiographies as the title, so that might be a good one.
Okay.
I didn't know if you'd go for the T-shirt that's on your Twitter picture.
Oh, posing till closing. Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good T-shirt. I wish I had that T-shirt now. It wouldn't fit probably.
Brilliant. Okay, well, don't listen to them because they don't know. That's a good ending, really, isn't it? Yeah. All that leaves me, you finished it. You got the black down. You cleared the colours. I'd no doubt that you would, to be honest. But yeah, it was good to find out a bit more about you away from the normal kind of the questions that you get on these things. So it's just all that remains, Michael, really, for the people listening as well, is just to thank you for your time.
No, pleasure.
And you can do, you're very open, you're very interesting to talk to, and I think I'd identified anyway the fact that you're an Ava, Michael, you're in Nottingham, you're a snooker legend in our parts, obviously. Mm-hmm. So just a load of luck for the rest of the season. And,
thank you.
As I said, it'd be good to check in at some point in the season if you wouldn't mind, and catch up again.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm happy with that. Yeah.
And let's hope that the Reds give us something more to cheer about. That'd be nice.
That'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? Going down there would be nice.
Brilliant. Okay, so that's another episode in the can. But thanks a lot to Michael Holt.
Thank you.
Cheers.